You are losing, not because you're weak, but because you're still using their rules. They lie, they cheat, they gaslight, and your decency, your commitment to fair play, has become the weapon they use to gut you. You feel the rage of injustice, but you choke it down. Society tells you to take the high road. That advice is a death sentence. The high road is where they watch you, powerless, as they steal what's yours from the low road. Your desire for fairness is a handicap they do not share. Your anger is a signal. It is the part of you that knows you are being hunted, and it is begging you to become the hunter. This is not about morality. This is about survival. And in survival, there is only one rule: win. Clicking away now is an act of surrender. It is choosing to remain their prey. Staying is choosing to receive the arsenal you've been denied. These are not tips. These are weapons-grade psychological protocols. To learn them is to shift from a player in their game to the architect of their defeat. Your fundamental error is believing you are in a moral contest. You are not. You are in a power contest. The dirty player understands this at a visceral level. They have no internal referee blowing a whistle for fouls. Your decency is a predictable pattern they exploit. Your emotions are a lever they pull. Your commitment to being the bigger person is the cage they lock you in. We are about to dismantle that cage. This video is a tactical bypass of your conditioning. You will be given the 10 forbidden laws, principles Machiavelli codified for rulers surviving in courts full of poison and daggers. By the end, you will not just defend against dirty players. You will systematically dismantle their advantage, turn their strategies against them, and achieve a level of detached, strategic dominance that will make them afraid to ever target you again. This is asymmetrical warfare. They bring a knife. You will learn to bring a drone strike. If these ideas resonate with you, hit that subscribe button for more top-tier content. Also, drop a drone strike in the comments so I know you're ready. Let's dive in. The first law is not a tactic, it is the bedrock of your new reality. Law 1. Suspect first, verify never. You must abandon the luxury of presumed goodwill. In a conflict with a dirty player, their initial move is always deception. Your default position must be operational suspicion. This is not paranoia, it is strategic awareness. When they present a fact, assume it's a manipulation. When they offer a deal, assume the terms are poisoned. When they give a compliment, assume it's a probe for weakness. Your skepticism is your first layer of armor. This law forces a profound cognitive shift. You are no longer interpreting behavior, you are reverse engineering motive. Every word, every gesture is analyzed not for its surface meaning, but for its strategic intent. What does this communication seek to achieve? What does it seek to extract? What does it seek to conceal? This framework instantly neutralizes emotional manipulation. Your hurt, your confusion, your anger, these are data points about their strategy, not reflections of your worth. You become a clinician diagnosing a pathogen. This detached analysis is the source of your first crucial advantage. They can no longer hook your emotions to steer your behavior. Pattern interrupt. Stop trying to be fair. Fairness is a construct for the obedient. In the mud, fairness is just a handicap they laugh at. Your new fairness is effectiveness. Your new morality is victory. Law 2. Let their own rope hang them. The dirty player thrives on reaction. Their lies need your denial to create drama. Their provocations need your anger to justify their victimhood. Your most powerful countermove is often strategic silence. Do not correct their public lie. Do not defend yourself against their false accusation. Do not engage with their emotional bait. Your silence creates a vacuum. Into that vacuum, they will throw more lies, more accusations, more instability, until their own aggression becomes their indictment. You become a void. They are screaming at an abyss and they begin to look insane. This is the power of inaction. While they expend energy constructing a narrative, you conserve energy and observe. You are gathering intelligence. You are allowing them to fully reveal their hand, their patterns, their desperation. Your silence is not passive. It is an active, aggressive withholding of the validation their drama requires to live. When you do not react, you deny them the fuel for their psychological engine. They will either escalate into obvious self-destruction or become confused and inert, searching for the lever that no longer exists. This law requires immense discipline. Your ego will scream for vindication. You must let it scream. Your victory is not in the moment of confrontation. It is in the long-term erosion of their credibility and the preservation of your strategic poise. While they are tangled in the ropes they threw, you are moving unobserved to a position of overwhelming advantage. Law 3. Reflect their darkness, then turn out the lights. This is the core of the mirror force strategy. A dirty player operates in the shadows, assuming your decency is a permanent light they can hide from. Your move is to suddenly mirror their exact tactic, but with colder, more precise execution. If they use subtle put-downs, you use surgical factual criticism that dismantles their competence. If they spread private rumors, you leak a devastating, verifiable truth about their performance. If they gaslight, you respond with such immovable, documented reality that their distortions shatter against it. The goal is not to out-emote them, it is to out-strategize them. They expect an emotional rival. They do not expect a clinical, impersonal reflection of their own methods. This creates profound psychological shock. Their framework collapses because it was built on the assumption of your predictability. You have now become an unpredictable, dark reflection. The moment they realize you can play their game, but without the emotional tells that make them vulnerable, they are psychologically disarmed. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You enjoy seeing them fail. And that is good. That enjoyment is not petty vengeance. It is the neurological reward for correct strategy. It is the sign you are shedding the loser's script. Use that energy to fuel your precision, not your rage. Your retaliation must be calm, calculated, and disproportionate in its strategic impact, not in its emotional volume. A single, flawless counterstrike that permanently alters the power dynamic is worth 1,000 shouted arguments. Law 4. Destroy the battlefield before they arrive. A dirty player attacks where they perceive your attachment, your reputation, your key project, your relationship with an ally. Law 4 commands you to preemptively detach, make the target worthless. If they seek to sabotage your reputation with a client, you have already diversified your portfolio, so the loss of that client is irrelevant. If they try to poison an ally against you, you have already made that ally strategically insignificant to your goals. If they target your emotional weak spot, you have already hardened it into a fortified fact. This is Sun Tzu meets Machiavelli. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. By removing your emotional and strategic investment from the areas they can attack, you render their efforts absurd. They are launching an assault on an empty fortress. This law transforms you from a reactive defender into an untouchable phantom. Your security no longer relies on defending static positions, but on having no fixed position at all. Your assets are fluid. Your alliances are dynamic. Your worth is internally validated. You become a strategic void they cannot grasp, let alone harm. To implement this, you must conduct a ruthless audit of your life. What are you attached to that could be used as a lever against you? Your need for a specific job, your fear of public opinion, your emotional dependence on a person's approval. You must methodically dissolve these attachments, not through repression, but through the conscious cultivation of alternatives and internal sovereignty. This is the work of building an empire within, so that no external loss can be catastrophic. Law 5. Cultivate calculated cruelty. Machiavelli was clear, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. This does not mean being a tyrant. It means being strategically unpredictable and capable of delivering a devastating, disproportionate consequence that lives in the imagination of your rivals. Law 5 is about manufacturing a single legendary event. You do not threaten, you act. Once decisively against a clear aggressor in a way that is so cold, so final, and so detached from emotion that it becomes folklore. This is not about losing your temper. It is about the opposite, a calm, surgical removal of a problem that demonstrates infinite resolve and zero emotional cost to you. It could be dismantling a rival's proposal with flawless logic in a public forum, leading to their professional exile. It could be exposing a lie with such elegant, irrefutable evidence that the liar's credibility is permanently atomized. The action must be precise, defendable, and its memory must linger. After this, your mere potential for similar action becomes a deterrent far more powerful than any bluster. People will fear what you might do, and that fear will protect you more than any friendship. Your goal is to become a person for whom crossing is not a conflict, but a calculus, a calculation that always concludes the cost is prohibitively high. You are not building a wall of anger. You are building a minefield of consequence that intelligent adversaries will choose to avoid. This law requires the will to be perceived as ruthless. You must sacrifice the desire to be seen as nice for the power of being seen as untouchable. Law 6. Offer the rope they will use to hang themselves. When a dirty player is in your sights, direct confrontation is often their preferred arena. Law 6 is the art of the strategic feint. You appear to offer cooperation, partnership, or valuable information. But what you are truly offering is a long leash and enough visibility for them to make a fatal mistake. You agree to their underhanded plan, only to have documented proof of its dishonesty. You support their ambition, only to put them in a position where their incompetence is unavoidably exposed. This is high-level manipulation defense turned offensive. You are using their own greed, their own duplicity, as the trap. By seeming to play along, you lower their defenses. They believe you are finally being realistic, or that they have outmaneuvered you. Their arrogance blooms. They become careless, they overextend, and at the precise moment of their maximum vulnerability, you simply step aside and let the weight of their own actions crush them. Your role is not the executioner, but the architect of the stage on which they execute themselves. This law requires patience and theatrical skill. You must manage your own tells, presenting a convincing mask of collaboration. Your satisfaction comes not from the moment of victory, but from the quiet precision of the setup. You are not in a fight. You are conducting a psychological operation where the target is the active agent in their own downfall. Law 7. Truth is a currency, not a virtue. For the betrayed intellectual, truth is sacred. For the dirty player, truth is a tool. Law 7 commands you to adopt the same mindset. You do not tell the truth out of obligation. You spend truth for strategic return. You reveal a vulnerability only to test loyalty. You share a piece of intelligence only to create an obligation. You expose a minor fault only to conceal a major one. Every fact you disclose, every secret you share, is a transaction designed to advance your position or gain superior intelligence. This means you become profoundly selective with your words. You master the art of the true but misleading statement. You learn to answer questions with answers that are technically correct but strategically opaque. Your honesty becomes a calculated performance, not a reflexive habit. This protects you from gossip, from manipulation, and from giving your enemies the map to your psyche. When you do speak plainly, it will carry immense weight because you have established that your words are always deliberate. This law severs the last chain of naive decency. It recognizes that in a war for power, information is the most critical asset, and your control over its flow is a primary source of authority. You are no longer a well of truth to be drawn from by all. You are a bank of information, and access requires the correct collateral. Law 8. He who defines the battle wins the battle. Dirty players are often masters of narrative after the fact, the gaslighting, the blame shifting. Law 8 dictates you must beat them to the narrative. You must be the first to define reality. Before they can accuse you of being aggressive, you frame their actions as unprovoked aggression to which you are calmly responding. Before they can paint you as unstable, you paint their behavior as erratic and dangerous. You are not describing events. You are constructing the interpretive lens through which events will be viewed. This is a media warfare strategy applied to your personal and professional life. You control the language, the framing, the story. You use facts as bricks in the narrative structure you are building. You are always the rational, measured actor. They are always the emotional, destabilizing element. You achieve this by speaking first, speaking authoritatively, and anchoring your version of events with unassailable, if selective, facts. Once your narrative is established, their attempts to contradict it look like desperate, guilty flailing. This requires you to think like a prosecutor, building a case from the very first moment of conflict. You are not just experiencing events, you are curating evidence and testimony for the court of public opinion, whether that's your office, your social circle, or your own mind. By owning the narrative, you dictate the terms of engagement and the criteria for victory. Law 9. The final weapon is your absence. The ultimate demonstration of power is not in the devastation you can cause, but in the value you can withdraw. Law 9 is the threat of total, irreplaceable exit. You make it clear through action, not words, that your skills, your presence, your alliance are privileges that can be revoked. When conflict arises, your most powerful move may be to simply leave, to withdraw your labor, your attention, your goodwill from the arena. This is different from running away. This is a tactical evacuation that collapses the value of the territory they are fighting over. They are fighting for control over a piece of your energy, a slice of your reputation. By removing yourself entirely, you demonstrate that you do not value the arena itself. You have other, more valuable kingdoms. This creates a profound sense of loss and powerlessness in the aggressor. They are left swinging at the air, holding a prize that has become worthless because you are no longer in the contest. This law is the culmination of internal sovereignty. It only works if you have truly built independent value, if you have a law for void to retreat to. Your exit must be clean, silent, and permanent until you choose otherwise. It is the nuclear deterrent of social strategy. The mere knowledge that you are capable of it and willing to use it makes most conflicts moot before they even begin. Law number 1 through number 9 are powerful, but law number 10 is what Machiavelli called the death blow. Most people are too scared to use it because it is not an external tactic, it is an internal command. Law 10. Become the darkness you perceive. This is the Jungian shadow integration for ultimate power. You must acknowledge, accept, and finally embrace the part of you that is capable of everything you have just learned. The part that enjoys the game, the part that finds cold clarity in suspicion, the part that feels a thrill in strategic cruelty. This is not about becoming evil, it is about becoming whole. By integrating this shadow, you remove the internal conflict that creates hesitation, guilt, and tells. The dirty player is a fractured person, often driven by unconscious envy or fear. You, the strategist, become a unified person. Your capacity for darkness is not a monster you cage, but a lieutenant you command. It operates under the cool direction of your intelligence, not the hot chaos of your pain. This integration makes you psychologically impregnable. You are no longer fighting yourself while fighting them. Your actions flow from a unified will. This is the source of the unnerving calm that marks the truly formidable. They have accessed all their tools without shame or apology. This is the death blow to your old, betrayed self, the person who was vulnerable because he was at war with his own power. The death blow to the dirty player because they now face an opponent who is not merely reacting, but acting from a place of complete, terrifying self-ownership. You are no longer fighting their game. You have become the game itself, and you are rigged to win. This is your arsenal. 10 laws that transition you from a reactive victim of dirty play to the proactive architect of a reality where you cannot be played. The tools are inert until you wield them. The knowledge is theoretical until you apply it. Your transformation is measured not by what you understand, but by what you are now willing to do. Now you have the dagger. It is forged from the fires of your own betrayed trust. It is balanced by the cold weight of strategic logic. It is up to you whether to keep it sheathed or let it taste blood. Let your first move be decisive. Let your first target be the part of you that still hesitates. This is the foundation of strategic offense. But a sovereign must govern, not just conquer. The next stage is to build a system that makes you permanently untouchable. A personal philosophy of power that turns these laws into an instinctual operating system. That is the subject of the on-screen video. The journey from tactics to dynasty begins there. Do not stop at knowing how to fight. Learn how to reign. I'll see you there. See what others miss. Know what others fear. Become who others can't.